Question 110. Grey and white matter of cerebellum. The grey matter is the cortex and the cerebellar nuclei. And then you have the white matter as the central core and laminae, or it also is called arbor vitae, tree of life. Now the cerebellar nuclei, which are the grey matter in the middle, you have dentate nucleus, which is this folded mass. It is open medially as hilum. Then you have emboliform. Then you have globose nuclei and vestigial nucleus. As you can see, there, if you just take a midplane here, and you have the same on both sides. The efferent tracts start in the cerebellar nuclei. Now the white matter of cerebellum, you have fibrae propriae. They do not leave cerebellum, they are commissural fibers and association fibers going to and from places inside the cerebellum. And then you have the projection fibers that connects the cerebellum with other parts of CNS via the afferent and efferent fibers. Here you can see a more schematic of the cerebellar nuclei. You have dentate nucleus, emboliform, globose nuclei, and vestigial nucleus. Now the efferent fibers, or tracts, the ones that goes to the cerebellum. You have vestibulocerebellar tracts that comes from the vestibular nuclei and vestibular apparatus in the pons. That goes to the cerebellum. You have spinocerebellar tract that goes from the spinal cord to the cerebellum. You have anterior and posterior spinocerebellar cord. They carry the impulses from the muscles, essential for muscle tonus. Then you have bulbocerebellar tract, come from gracile and cunate nucleus that are in this level somewhere. They bring the impulses from the exteroreceptors necessary for muscular coordination. Then you have nucleocerebellar tract. They contain fibers from the nuclei of some cranial nerves, mainly trigeminal, which is in the pons. Next we have tectocerebellar tract, from tectum of midbrain, for passage of auditory and visual impulses. Next we have rubrocerebellar tract and olivocerebellar tract, which is a part of extrapyramidal connections. You find the olive in the oblongata. And last two afferent tracts are reticulocerebellar tract from reticular formation and corticopontocerebellar tract from cerebral cortex. Now the efferent fibers that goes from the cerebellum, from the cerebellar nuclei. You have cerebellothalamic tract. Goes from the cerebellum to the thalamus. You have cerebellorural tract, cerebellovestibular tract that goes back to the vestibular nuclei and vestibular apparatus. You have cerebellar reticular tract that goes back to the reticular formation. And you have cerebello-olivary tracts that goes back to the olives. And all these tracts serve for performing of cerebellar functions, maintaining of muscle tonus, equilibrium, and muscular coordination.